All right, can you hear me now? I guess I forgot to turn on my microphone. I see that it's going now, though. Whoops. Okay, well, since you couldn't hear me, I'm just going to re-say what I said before. Hello, my name's Jeremy. Welcome to InkInspiration. Grab some paper, some pencils, pens, whatever you want, and we're going to do some drawings today. You don't have to draw what I'm drawing. You could draw your own thing if you want, or you could copy and draw what I'm doing. It doesn't really matter. We've got a lot of different things to do today, so for this title card, I'm going to do it kind of quickly this time. Not make it quite as complicated. Last week I kind of went overboard. I just got into a serious thing with it. But I'll try to go faster this time so we have time to do all the other drawings that I have in mind for today. There we go. I realized last week that I say "there we go" a whole bunch while I'm doing this, talking to myself. I guess it's more like I don't know, congratulating myself. That's not the right way to say it. But anyway, before I set everything up today earlier, I played around in this new game. Well, I guess it's not that new, but it's new to me. It's called Fortnite Battle Royale, and it's very intense. I got all shaky from it because it was something else. If you haven't played it, it's like you're playing against 100 other people in this like free-for-all Hunger Games sort of thing. You know what? I think I'm gonna run out of space for all my letters here. We'll squeeze them in somehow. But it's a very intense game, but it's a lot of fun, even though I'm not very good at it. I mean, it's you against basically 100 other people. So chances are out there that somebody else is going to be better than you. Reminds me of doing my homework at school and kind of having to mush everything together when I started out writing too big. That's okay. We're gonna fill this in. These are the nice sparkly jelly roll pens that we actually used at my wedding, and they are a lot of fun to use on black paper. They're all metallic looking. It's pretty neat. We'll just fill in these letters a little bit. Let me know if the music is too loud. It's hard to tell on this end if I have it turned up too much or not. In this game that I was playing earlier, I was doing pretty good. I actually had... The way I like to play is sort of try to avoid combat for as long as possible. That way it gives time for everybody else to eliminate each other. So I like to try to find some weapons in the beginning, because you start the game with nothing, basically, so you're very vulnerable if somebody else finds a weapon before you do. So I like to try to find a weapon as fast as I can and then kind of hide. I guess that might seem kind of cowardly, but but for the most part it works. But this one, when I landed, there were like 3 people around me already, and so everybody was making a mad dash trying to find something to protect themselves with. And even though I didn't find something right away, I managed to survive that bit. And I even got a sniper rifle, which are somewhat rare to find. And I made it down to 25 people. And then somebody got me while I wasn't looking. Let's see. What color should we make this inner circle? I'm thinking yellow. We have this kind of orange color. That might work too. Or purple. Purple might blend in too much with this blue-pink color. I'm going to turn off that light there. Might make it a little bit easier to see. I think I'm going to go with the orange. Not one of my favorite colors, but I think it will look good with this blue and this blue and pink that we have inside of the letters here. Now, like I said, I'm not focused. I'm kind of going fast on this particular drawing, and that's okay. Sometimes it's good just to get something down on the paper. We'll have more time to focus on some of the more intricate details in the other drawings today. Right now, I just want to let's get something down. It's like a warm-up. Before you go and play sports or anything, you have to do your stretches and do a warm-up. It's kind of like what this is going to be. This pen is kind of fading. Oh, that's weird. It's not flowing properly. Well, you know what? What we'll do is we'll just finish this other half with yellow. It's gonna look a little strange, having one half be orange, one half be yellow, but that's all right. Well, these colors are actually not that different from each other. There. Let's give a little bit more up here. Now, I don't normally do this much scribbling, but like I said, warm-up picture. There we go. Let's see, I can get my silver out again. We're gonna give it one more ring around it. There we go. And inside of that middle ring, we're gonna use some light green, I think. Oh, you know what? I think it would be better if we left that space empty. I do want to put some light green in there, so what I'm going to do, it's starting to look like a bullseye. Originally I was thinking like a petri dish kind of thing, and the letters would be like, I don't know, bacteria swimming around in it. I know I said that I wouldn't go too crazy with the title card this time, and I think I'm still sticking to that. But I think I'll stop myself after this, otherwise I'm just going to keep adding more and refining and refining. When you're doing art, or really when you're doing anything, it can get to a point where it's just like, oh, you keep you keep adding more to it and it gets to be too much. And it would have been better if you just left it alone. Alright, so that's the first part today. Uh-oh. So this is our picture that we were working on last week, the one we didn't get finished. So what we're going to do is we're just going to basically finish it up by adding some little touches. This is my, let's see, this is the pen that I got from Daiso, which is like a Japanese dollar store. They have one near where I used to live in Denton, Texas. Yeah, I like it. It's precise, it's small. So what we're going to do in this weird, I don't know what you would call it, weird segmented flower or something like that, twisty lollipop I think is what I said last time, is we're just going to add some dashes to it, some lines. Give it a little bit more texture on the inside. Now, I don't know if y'all will be able to see it that well because I need to get a better camera. But it looks like at least on my preview screen I can see that a little bit, the details there. I'm just putting basically just lines of various sizes, various degrees of space in between them. Putting them in between these little pipes, these little tubes or whatever we call it. Just filling up the space. All it is just drawn lines. And you could draw a line. Anybody can draw a line. So you can grab some paper and draw some lines yourself. There we go. And the more you draw lines, the better your lines will start looking. Or at least, yeah, the more they'll start looking like what you want them to look like. That might be a better way of putting it. There. I'm hoping that it won't take too long to finish this particular picture because I have some other things I also want to work on today, but I don't want to, I'm not going to rush through this one. I did that first picture. Just turning on some background lighting, hopefully to make things a little bit more visible. I have my natural light coming through the window, but it's still kind of early in the morning, so the sun isn't totally up yet. I'm not really filling these guys in at any particular order right now, but that's okay. They'll all get filled in eventually. They'll just have to be patient. Once again, I hear my cats outside my bedroom door. They would love to come in and sit on top of everything and mess up my computer and mess up my picture. But I'm afraid I'm not going to let them. Sorry, guys. This music is from a video game called Stardew Valley, which was a pretty fun little, it's like a farming simulator, I guess. But what's really impressive about it is that it was all made by one person. He did all the music himself. He did all the coding. He did everything on it. The story, the writing, the sprites. That's pretty impressive to me, because it's a really fun game too. I think you can get it pretty cheaply now. I like the music for it. It's mood music, happy mood music. There we go. Cats sticking their paws under the door. Just one of them, really. Troublemaker cat. My first cat, she's pretty cool. She just likes to sit around. She just likes to sit in the same room as you. Sometimes she likes pets, but most of the time she just is fine just sitting on the ground or on the bed or something. But the other one, he's an attention hog. He wants to be pet all the time, and which isn't bad, but it is when he knocks things out of your hands because he wants to be pet. Or he gets underneath my feet while I'm cooking dinner. My more chill cat, she gets really freaked out when I'm cooking sometimes, because if I make a steam or smoke, she'll sit there and cry, like she's scared of it. Well, she can just leave the room. She can just go to a different part of the house, but she'll just sit there and caterwaul. I'm assuming that word came from the animal and the noises they make. Let's see. So it's been suggested to me that on this channel I should do some like fan art, and that will help me gain some customers, or not customers, viewers. Just a good idea. I think what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to work on some art from a video game that came out not too long ago called Cuphead, which is you know what? I haven't actually played it, but I've watched people play it, and it's like fighting a whole bunch of bosses pretty much for the whole game. I don't know, like Shadow of the Colossus or something. But what is really cool about it is that it's all hand drawn, and it looks like an old Mickey Mouse, Betty Boop kind of cartoon. Everything is in that old-timey style. White gloves on everybody's hands. And I think that's really interesting. That's a cool aesthetic for them to go with. And I guess it worked out because the game got a lot of popularity pretty quickly. I guess it goes to show you that if you do something new, well, new. If you do something different than what's happening at the time, you can kind of stand out. There we go. Woo. Getting some hand cramps. Coffee break. Alright, so I would say we're about halfway done with this. And then we'll move on to a different drawing. There we go. I don't know what you would call this thing. I don't know what I would call it. These things kind of look like, I don't know, worms or tape measures. But the whole design's kind of like a flower or a swirly, like one of those rainbow swirly lollipops that look really cool but don't taste very good. I know they sell those at the dollar store. That's kind of weird to me. There. Alright. You put some, these parts where they're connected, putting some little lines to sort of show that they are still, or that kind of like that they're being stretched. It is a little disappointing that this is not, that y'all can't really see this too well. I definitely need to get a better camera at some point. Maybe sometime after Christmas. Really like this song. It's one of my favorites on the album. It's just so cheerful. Going back to that game I was talking about earlier, Fortnite. It's a pretty interesting experience. Well, first of all, it tells me that if I was in that sort of situation, I would not do well. But these battle royale games, these like Hunger Games things, they're become very popular as of late. It makes me wonder why. Maybe they've always been kind of a popular idea. I mean, the Hunger Games is very popular, and the Japanese movie that came before it, and I think it might have been a manga before that. I'm not sure, but so the idea has definitely been around for a long time. Heck, I guess you could probably qualify the most dangerous game as that kind of thing too. I mean, it's almost like a sport. Everybody's hunting each other, trying to survive. Maybe it's just that the technology is kind of advanced enough that we can have games simulating that. I mean, having 100 people playing that same game all at once has to take a lot of computer power, a lot of server processing, a lot of technobabble. Whew. When I do really small things like this, I can kind of cramp my hand. I push down very hard. I hold the pen like in an iron grip, like somebody's trying to pull it away from me, and if I let go, I'll die. I try to relax my hand, but I can't really do that. I'm getting better at that game, though. I feel like just through, like anything, through practice. The more you do something, the better you'll be at it. And just like drawing, the more you draw, the better you'll draw. And if you like it, it's not really practice. It's just fun. Fun that you get better at doing. That's kind of a funny way to think about it. But I guess it's true. So it was kind of disheartening the first time I played. As soon as my character landed on this island, and I was almost immediately eliminated. Like, talking about within seconds. And I could have given up and just said, this game is not for me. I don't know what I'm doing. It's too hard. And I am going to quit. But I decided to keep playing. Partially the reason is because it was free to download. So, I don't know. A free game. Sometimes something being free gives it worth. But I kept working at it, kept going. Now I know a little bit better what to do. The game starts with everybody inside of a big, looks like a bus. It's a bus with a blimp with a balloon hot air balloon, and it flies across the map, and everybody jumps out of it. And you jump out of the battle bus, and you're falling towards the earth, or towards the island, and in that time you can kind of direct your character where you want to land. And there's a lot of strategy on where you want to land your character. Do you want to land your character inside of a suburb, or inside of like a big fast food restaurant area, or near a lake with a mansion or a power facility or something like that? Or do you just want to land on top of a mountain or out in the middle of nowhere? Inside a swamp, in a forest, in the middle of a hedge maze inside of a forest. There's a lot of opportunity there. You got to make decisions. If you land inside of a neighborhood or a shopping area, there's going to be lots of opportunities to get weapons really quickly, but that's also where a lot of other people are going to deploy too. So you might find yourself having a fight pretty soon, pretty quickly. And in the beginning of the game, that can be very, very dangerous. I've never watched the Hunger Games, but I sort of know a little bit about it, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the beginning of the first Hunger Game, when everybody comes out onto the playing field or whatever, there's like the cornucopia building in the middle of everything when they first start, and that has all the weapons in it, and how half the people will run straight into the middle to try to get a weapon right away and end up like engaged in this chaotic fighting right in the beginning of the game. That's kind of what the idea is. You can land somewhere with lots of weapons available and get right into everything, or you can land somewhere a little bit further away, somewhere more excluded, and try to scrounge up some weapons, but hopefully not run into anybody for a while. I like to kind of do that second one. I like to try to land somewhere out of the way. Mostly because I'm not very good at the combat, the aiming thing. You know, you have to aim at people who are moving around. Difficult stuff. It's looking good. So I try to find somewhere out of the way to start the game. There's this place on the map called the Lonesome Lodge, and it's like a wooden, it's like a lodge, sort of inside of a national park area, and I kind of like to land there. It is a little bit of a popular spot to go. There'll probably be one or two other people there, but I happen to know where all of the basically like the weapon treasure chests that are hidden throughout the game. I know where they are in that area, so my chances are higher of finding something quickly and then escaping into the woods where people won't be able to see me. There we go. I never watched Hunger Games, but I did watch the Japanese Battle Royale movie. It was very disturbing. Very disturbing movie. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to just trace the inside of this, just to give it a little bit more definition. I never decided what this weird shape was exactly. Just some sort of, it kind of looks like two combs, maybe. But whenever I'm concentrating and being precise, I end up being really quiet. Well, anyway, that's this picture finished, I think. May add some more details to it some other time. But kind of want to move on to some other things today. Let's see. So today, I think, like I said earlier, if you were watching then, we're going to work on a little fan art kind of stuff. Let me get my Sharpie out here. Now, since Cuphead, the video game, is all based off of cartoons, old cartoons, I'm gonna use the Sharpie to give it a nice thick black outline, but then I think I'm going to go in with my colored pencils and give it a little bit more detail that way. So first we're going to just do the basic picture of the character Cuphead. Let's see, I think I'm going to start here with his head. Oh, you know what? Got lots of paper, so it's okay. Make sure that we make his head nice and broad. I'm not sure what kind of cup his head is actually supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like a coffee cup, maybe. We'll draw. So he's got a little straw poking out of the top of his cup here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw that. I like drawing with Sharpies because you get, like a nice uniform line. I think in the game his straw is like a little bit it's like a very thick kind of straw. And give it some stripes. There we go. That's looking good so far. Now we'll do his eyes. Let's see, he has his eyes pretty big. He's got a pretty simple kind of got a little nose. We'll do his other eye. There. It's looking cuppish. We'll do his mouth real quick. He's a pretty happy guy. He's pretty much always smiling. And give him one of those cartoon bumpy tongues. Yeah, it's looking good. We'll do his eyes real quick too. He has like in that era of cartoons, they did their eyes in a really strange way. It's kind of like little Pac-Man eyes. I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe it's because it's somewhat easy to draw them. Kind of stylized. Let's color his eyes in real quick. It's easy to fill in a lot of space with a Sharpie. So there we go, we got his Pac-Man eyes there. If you're following along and I'm going too fast, let me know. I can go a little bit slower. Fill in his mouth too. While we're in a filling in mood. feel like maybe I should be playing music from the game. Might be a good idea, actually. If you give me just one moment. We're gonna skip that the intro song with the words. All right, so there's our Cuphead. Oh wait, we need to give him a little handle. There we go. Easy peasy. It's almost like it's kind of like his ear, I guess. Or it could be seen as kind of like hair coming down the side. All right, now let's move on to his body. Now, Cupman does not really have a neck, and that's okay, because necks can be hard to draw. What we'll do though is we'll draw his arm here. He comes from the era of cartoons where they have rubber hose limbs. Alright, so we got one arm. Let's make this hand real quick. Now, I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. We're going to give him a glove here. Because all the characters back then wore gloves. I think I watched a video one time about why that is, and the reason is it is hard to draw hands fast. And not only draw them fast, because they're drawing every frame of those cartoons back then. Excuse me. But also, it is so when the characters were back in black and white, it was really easy for their hands to disappear with their black bodies, basically. So if you made the hands just plain white, then it was easier to differentiate for the viewer and for the artist. He has his hands on his hips because he's cocky. He's a cocky guy. Do his other arm here. You know what? To make sure that he has his other hand on his hip, I'm going to do his pants here real quick to make sure that I have, like the right, let me see here. He has like Mickey Mouse pants, basically. They're pretty simple. And with that line, that's going to be our pants right there. Well, we'll add more to it in a little bit, but okay, so let's finish the rest of this arm. And, we'll make this. Oop. I think I made his pants a little bit big. That's okay. We'll do his other glove here. Got his hand on his hip. Alright, so yeah, I did make his pants a little bit big, but you know what? That's Cuphead's lost some weight recently. He's He's showing off. Let's finish up his pants here. So we're going to make this part for the crotch of his pants. We'll bring the leg down. So that's one pant leg. And let's see, he's gonna have his foot kind of back. So we're gonna put his pant leg kind of at an angle here. There we go. He got his pants on. Good. Let's move on to his legs and his shoes. So let's have this leg kind of sticking out like this. There we go. Got a little bit longer there. And this leg, we're going to bring it kind of almost straight down. We're putting kind of curved lines at the bottom here to make it look like when we draw his shoes in, it will look like his foot is going into the shoe instead of just being a layer on top of his shoe. We kind of give it a curve. It looks like it's going inside. So we're going to draw his shoes real quick. And as you might know from Disney cartoons and stuff like that, mostly Mickey Mouse nowadays, but cartoons from this era, their shoes were kind of like clown shoes. It definitely was a style back then. I kind of wonder how much of it was based on that it was quick and easier to do. Let's make this come down a little bit more. And we'll just finish that off. We'll put the finish off the bottom of the shoe. And let's give him a little sole of the shoe there. We'll just put a little layer here. Because he does a lot of running and jumping in his game. So he needs thick soles on his shoes. Alright, let's move on to shoe number 2. We're going to do it pretty much the same way. We're bringing these circles around for, I don't know, is there a certain name of the part where you put your foot into? I don't know. And then we're going to draw the big clown toe of that shoe. Bring it around and finish off the bottom here. There we go. This one's kind of flat on the top. Whoops. Oh well. That's not really any big deal. We'll give him his sole of the shoe here. Wonderful. And there's our Cuphead. Now, what we are going to do, let's go through my Sharpies here real quick. I'm going to get my really big Sharpie to color in his body. That way it just goes a little bit faster. Although I guess it's not real. I guess this might be a shirt. He's wearing a black shirt instead of. For a while, I thought he was just running around shirtless and he just had black skin, kind of like Mickey Mouse. But now that I'm thinking about it, his skin is white. I mean, he's a cup. It's probably like porcelain or something like that. If you draw out of the lines with a black Sharpie, nobody will know as long as you connect them up. Add it to your picture. So I guess he's just wearing like a black long sleeve shirt. If you'll give me just one moment. I just realized that I have not, uh-oh. Just realized that I didn't plug my computer in. There we go. It wouldn't be any good if my computer powered down and shut off while I was doing this. Alright, there's our happy looking Cuphead. If you're following along with me and you don't have a thick Sharpie or something like that, you can leave coloring him in for later, or just give him kind of like a scribble in there, just something to put in the color. That way, when we move on to coloring him in, you can stay with me. Here's what we're going to do right now. I've got all my colored pencils here. We need to make sure that we have red. That's probably the most important color for us right now. Now, if you just have like a red, like ballpoint pen, or red gel pen or something like that, you can go ahead and use it. Why not? Nobody's judging you here. Hey, nobody can probably even see what you're doing right now. Alright, so what I'm going to do right now is fill him in. Now, in the game, there's not really any like shadows on him. But I'm going to kind of create some shadows. We're going to pretend that the light is coming in at this angle. So that means behind, this is going to be a little bit darker. Oh my word. We're going to need the black at some point. What did I get for pressing down too hard? That was a Prismacolor pen. I didn't have the wherewithal to bring my pencil sharpener up here. So we'll just go ahead with my other colored pencils here. This is a Prang, which are really cheap actually, but I think there's some of the better colored pencils you can get for the money. In Prismacolor, those are like the super expensive ones, and I like them. They work well, but I mean, they're great if you want to spend $100 on colored pencils. See, since the light's coming this way, we're going to have to make it darker underneath and kind of on the side a little bit. And hopefully with the shadowing, we'll kind of give our straw more of a three-dimensional look to it. We'll make it look a little bit more like it's been curved. Now the prong pencils, they aren't really, I mean, you don't have such a rich red color, but it's still a pretty nice color. Let's see. So next we need got to color in his nose. His little red nose. His nose is probably going to get a lot of light coming down from it, but we're still going to make the bottom of it and the back of it a little bit darker here. There we go. I decided to do colored pencils for this one because, well, they're a little bit kind of scratchy almost. It's not like drawing with a Sharpie. There'll be a little bit of white, a little bit of colors in there. His tongue, since it's inside of his mouth, we're going to go ahead and make it pretty dark red. There we go. The Cuphead game is supposed to be pretty difficult. Like I said earlier, I haven't actually played it, but it's supposed to be a pretty hard one. Alright, so we're going to do his pants now, and we're going to give it shading. We're going to make this part darker. This part's going to be really dark. This part's going to be dark. This is going to be lighter on this side. So, let's start over here. Make it really dark right here. So since he has his leg kind of jutting out or pushed out in front of him, he is going to be getting a little bit of light over here on this side of his pant leg. So it's going to be a little bit lighter than the left side. But it's still going to be darker than over on the far right of his pants. Let's get this all colored in here, so we kind of have a background color to work with. And this part of his leg, pant leg, is going to be dark because it's going to be kind of behind the front of his pant leg is making a shadow on the back. There. You know what we should probably do? Let me grab my Sharpie again real quick. There. Now it's not much of a change, but make it slightly more three-dimensional looking. If he has like a little cuff there, we'll color inside there pretty dark red as well. Since it's inside of his pant leg, it's not going to be getting much light. We're going to use some black and a little bit to add a little bit more to the shadows, but this music is crazy. This might seem a little sloppy right now, but we're going to go in and make sure that it's all, filled in. Alright, so back to our shading over here. We're going to make these parts dark. It's got the shadow of his hand kind of pushing on it, as well as that this part of his pants, if they are kind of rounded, these parts are going to be in the dark, a little bit more in the dark, a little more shadow on it. There we go. Now there's a couple things recently in recent culture that have been harkening back to the old cartoons of times gone by. There was that show on Nickelodeon. I think it was Nickelodeon. Man, now I'm not 100% sure. But there was that show called Over the Garden Wall, which had a very similar aesthetic. An old, like an old serial. And that's a great show. I love it. It's very dark, very creepy. I'm going to go ahead and skip this song. Not because it's a bad song, but I don't want any, boop. I don't want any, speaking. I'm the only one allowed to talk here. Okay. Yeah, so Over the Garden Wall is a good TV show. Very short. It's short. I guess you'd call it a mini-series. fill this in a little bit more so it's more red than pink. But it's about two brothers who are lost in the woods and trying to find their way back home. There we go. So I think that about does it for the pants for right now. So we got some color going on, and now we're gonna move on to his shoes. I suppose most shoes are brown, but Cuphead really likes the red aesthetic, so he has red shoes. Another reason why I'm not doing this, or coloring it in with Sharpies, is because I don't have a red Sharpie. I did, but a couple days ago, my sons were using it to do some coloring, and they left the lid off, and it all dried up. Sad. Luckily, Sharpies are not that expensive. Alright, so just like the pants, we're going to have some darker red on this side because it's in the shadow. This part too, since it's behind his leg, it's going to have some darker colors there too. And right here will be darker because the curl of the boot, of the top of the boot, is creating a shadow. That's why this part right here will have some dark to it. And even though we didn't carry our black line all the way over, it's kind of implied that there is a a curl going on there in the boot fabric. So we're gonna make sure that underneath there stays just a little bit darker, not a huge amount. There we go. Excuse me. So I believe the story of Cuphead goes that Cuphead and his friend Mugman, who maybe I'll draw later on, that they were at a casino run by King Dice, and they were at the craps table. Which, it's kind of funny that they would put it like that because, I guess, if you ever watch, like, the old, what was his name, Bimbo, I think his name was, he was one of the characters in the Betty Boop roster. He kind of dealt with stuff like that a lot, gambling and things. It wasn't, I didn't live back then, but from what I can kind of gather from the culture, the popular culture at the time and stuff, that kind of stuff wasn't seen as quite as negative as it's seen, the light it's seen in today. Having worked at a casino for a while, I can tell you that casinos are at least a terrible place to work. I've never actually gone one for fun, and I don't plan to. Pardon me. Need a coffee break. My voice is kind of... Excuse me. Yeah, working in a casino was not very fun, because it was just like a very negative working environment. I'm making this shoe of his, or the sole of his shoe, very dark because it's underneath the shoe. It's gonna have a lot of shadow on it. There's that. This shoe's putting up. Remember, we're having our sun coming in this way, so that means the ends are gonna be kind of dark. So we're gonna leave this part a little bit wider, but we're not going to do it as white as this because this shoe is behind the rest of his body. So it is going to be in shadow more or less. But even if the whole shoe is in shadow, this part will still be getting more white than the tip of his shoe over here. But anyway, yeah, working in a casino is very kind of a negative environment to work in, because your customers will either be extremely happy or, you know, extremely mad at you. As a dealer at a casino, you're basically, they could get machines to do the dealing. It wouldn't be that hard. I think mostly the reason why they still have human dealers is because the customers need somebody to get mad at when they lose all their money, which is going to happen because all those games are rigged. Not rigged in such a way as that they're unfair and you won't be able to beat them, or they're not impossible to beat. There is a chance, but the chance for a customer to win really large amounts of money is so small. It is almost negligible. I guess a casino would be a good place to go if you wanted to really see how, as like a sociologist, you'd probably get some really interesting interactions to see. I saw some pretty interesting interactions when I worked there. Ooh, this particular song is very raucous. Alright, so there, that shoe, we need to blend this in a little bit more to make it not so harsh. Like I said, since this shoe's still in the shadows of his body and his other leg, it is going to be altogether darker than the other shoes. One thing I noticed that working in a casino is that people always assume that they are perfect and that they never do anything wrong. An example is I was at a very busy, crowded table. So I was dealing blackjack and I had lots of people there. Uh-oh, I have a mail carrier just pulled up. I hope they don't need me to sign for anything. But I was at a very crowded table, lots of people, and very busy too. And this one guy had a beer out on the table, which you're not supposed to do. The only drinks you're supposed to have on the table have to have lids on them. This one did not. I told him several times to hold it in his lap or get off the table because you're not supposed to have it out there. But he wasn't listening to me. He would say, "Oh, okay, yeah," and he would take the cup and hold it in his lap or something. But then he would take it back out and leave it at the table. And you know, you're as a dealer, you're distracted. You're doing a whole bunch of things at one time. Doing math in your head, making sure your card placement's good, making sure you show the cameras that you aren't stealing anything. When you're dealing, there's cameras all around watching you. And one's in the ceiling, one's behind you, in front of you, everywhere. One of the things you have to do is, when you're dealing cards, whenever you touch your row of chips, or whenever you touch anything, basically, you have to clear your hands, which means, and the camera's looking up at you, you have to do like this to show that there's nothing in your hands before you can go and do something else. So every time you touch poker chips, every time you touch the cards, you have to clear your hands afterwards. That way the cameras know or can see that you are not, palming chips in your hand or stealing anything. So you're doing all these different things at the same time. So when one customer decides to break the rules over and over again, there's not much you can really do about it. Alright, so there's our Cuphead. Nicely colored in. I think I'm going to give a little bit of black pen, give it a little bit extra to the shadows here. Not pen, this is a pencil. What am I talking about? If you deal for a while, you'll start clearing your hands all the time. In everyday life, it will get ridiculous. Every once in a while, I still do it, even though I haven't worked at the casino for a couple of years now. So I'm just very lightly adding some black to the areas that are going to be supposed to be darker. That way, just to give them a little extra shading. I don't want to push down very hard because I don't want to make like a solid black line. And that would not look good. Just a little bit of extra darkness, as it would. It may not, when you're doing shading, it may not seem like you're adding enough black or you're not pushing down hard enough. And that's okay. You know, you can always go back over things again, but you can't really take the color away. So it's okay if it seems like you're not adding enough darkness at one part. I'll give it a little bit right there to give it a little bit more definition on the curl of a shoe there and right here. I just realized that I completely didn't finish my casino story. Get so distracted talking to myself. Anyway, to finish my story, this guy kept bringing his beer out on the table, and eventually, of course, he spilled it. But he didn't just spill it on the table, he spilled it into my deck of cards and into the rack with all of the poker chips in it, and just basically everywhere. And because of that, we had to close down my table until we got everything cleaned up. And of course, the guy totally blamed. He said it was my fault for doing it. It was my fault for not telling him to put his cup away. Since this shoe is a little bit darker than the other shoe, since it's in the shadow, I'm gonna give it a little black all around, especially in this corner here. But you know what? It didn't really bother me that much because the table was closed. We had to bring out new deck of cards and everything, and I'm totally fine with that. Just get it clean. So there's our Cuphead. Yay! I think it turned out okay. If y'all were following along at home, and feel free to email me any pictures that you do. You can email me at InkInspiration@gmail.com. And I'd love to see what you're working on. And that's Inky Inspiration with a J at the end of it. Inky Inspiration J. No space or anything. So there's our Cuphead. I'm going to take a quick... Alright, let's see how much time I have. Nice. We're doing great on time. Let me grab another piece of paper. We're gonna have a quick intermission because I need to grab some water. So it's a couple minutes. Get out of here, you. Whoa. Yeah. As soon as my cat got in here, he jumped right up on the table. Alright, so I'm going to put on some different music because, well, Cuphead is great and all, but his music is, I don't know, it's a bit too much, I feel. It's very loud. If you all have any suggestions for music you'd like to hear, let me know in the comment section and I will put it on for you. As long as it's on, I guess as long as it's on Spotify, I can put it on. Right now I'm trying to find some good music. There we go. How about some SimCity 3000? Never a bad choice when you want just nice music. Alright, so I think I drew Cuphead, so now I guess I should draw Mugman as well. I mean, it's only fair, he's the second player in the game. So let's start a very similar way. We'll start with his head first. Mugman's drawn a little bit differently than Cuphead is, but the different ways they're kind of subtle. So first, we got the top of his head, and we're gonna do his straw. Now, unlike Cuphead's straw, Cuphead has a little bend in his straw. Mugman has a straight straw. So that's what we're going to draw. We're going to draw a little straight straw here. Still very chunky. Chunky straw. There we go. And he only has one stripe on his straw. Now let's do the rest of his head here. Now, whereas Cuphead has a small little, like a jelly bean for a nose, or small little like sesame seed nose, Mugman has a nice big nose. So that's what we are going to draw, is a nice big nose. Alright, I kind of messed up there, but you know what? Don't need to stress about it. Now, Cuphead's eyes are flush with the top of his cup, but Mugman's eyes are rounded at the top. These little details. But he has pretty much the same mouth. Nice big happy smile. And we're going to give him his tongue too. And we're going to give him his Pac-Man eyes. There we go. Let's just color that in real quick. We gotta show Mugman some love because I feel like it's never fun to be the second character in the franchise. I mean, the game is called Cuphead. You might feel a little bit left out. So, other than his nose kind of being a little bit wonky, I think we're doing okay here. I've drawn Cuphead several times before, but I've never actually drawn Mugman. So, this is a new experience for me as well. I mean, it's pretty much the same. The small details. But small details are what make the difference sometimes. The difference between Mario and Luigi. The difference between Cuphead and Mugman. Alright, so there's our Mugman's head. Oh wait, don't want to forget. You gotta give him his handle. How could I forget the handle? There we go. Better, more complete. Alright, so let's see here. We're going to do his arms. I think we're going to put his arms behind his back. He is in the picture that I'm basically copying right now. Yeah, it's this kind of like shy pose with his arms behind his back, so I think that's what we'll do. Let's see. Mugman has his pants up high compared to Cuphead. Finished up. Now, just like Cuphead, we're going to grab our colored pencils here and put this black one back while I have it out. And Mugman's coloring is mostly blue, or all blue, except his red tongue. You know what, I guess I still need this for his red tongue. Let's see, I'm trying to think of which color blue though. I think I'm going to go with this, this true blue. The ocean blue might work as well, but I'm going to go with this one. So first, I'm going to do his tongue. Get that out of the way. There we go. nice dark red because it's inside of his mouth, so it's gonna be darker. I think for this picture we're gonna have the light coming in at an angle like this, kind of the opposite of the other one we did. I'm trying to think of a way to maybe kind of fix his nose, but I feel like if we, I could make the lines a little bit darker, kind of fill them back out, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I think I might just leave it like this and color it in and see how that looks. So this is another Prismacolor. Hopefully I'll make sure not to push down so hard with this one. You don't really need to. It's very oily for a colored pencil. Greasy, which might sound like a bad thing, but it's actually not. It's I rather like it. It makes it easier to makes it less scratchy, I guess is how you'd say it, which is a good thing. There. Kind of fill in the spaces better with the with like an oily pencil. Alright, so we got a little bit of shading here. We're gonna blend it a little bit more in. Make it really dark red at the base of his nose. There we go, we got his weirdly shaped nose. Let's do the blue on his straw here. Oh, this is where the this album music gets a little bit more. What's the right word for it? Weird. That's not really what it is. I think all the music in this album is supposed to sort of convey a feeling of like a busy city and the different aspects of a busy city. So this one kind of seems to me like, well, shoot, it's kind of hard to say. Nighttime, definitely. I don't know why. This kind of sounds like nighttime to me. Maybe because it's a lot less, not as high tempo as the other songs. There's his straw all finished. Let's do his pants now. So we're definitely going to have inside of his pants here be a nice dark blue. Because seeing as they're inside, they're not going to get a lot of light. Especially this part right here, because it's going to be, this light's going to be blocked by his leg. It's going to be darker on this side too, because this part is facing away from the light. This music's also, this song in particular is kind of industrial sounding. Maybe it's like I don't know, like a construction yard, but at night after all of the employees have gone home, and this is just the sounds of what's left. And it has that kind of that clanking noise, that metallic noise. Maybe it sounds like dripping water. Maybe it's just like the sewer or something. Oh, that's kind of gross, but romanticized version of the sewer. Like one of those giant sewers that you go through in video games. The ones that could house half the city. Kind of like that. Alright, so we're making good progress here on the shading. We just need to make sure that we're getting it dark enough on the far sides. And we also want to make sure that our shading is blending in. That way it's not just it doesn't look like just two sections of his pants. This the part of his pants where the fabric is dark. This is the part of his pants where the fabric's lighter. We don't want that. We want it to be kind of like a fade, like it's the light that's changing the colors. The colors themselves are not actually changing. The light's changing how we view the colors. We don't want it to look like half his pants are wet, so they're darker. Give this spot right there a little bit color. That's looking pretty good. Got a little bit on his shirt, but that's okay. Make sure that around the back here is very dark to show that that's around the back of his clothes. And gives it a little bit more depth. Alright, this is freakishly long legs. Alright, we're going to do his pants now. Or, just did his pants. We're going to do his shoes now. So, light's coming from this direction. This part of the shoe will be lighter. This back part here will be darker because it's in shadow of his leg. Make sure under here it's going to be a little bit darker too because there's the fold in the shoe. But not too much. This is sticking out in front, so it's probably going to have the most light out of everything coming at it. We'll give it a little bit darker right underneath where his foot enters the shoe. Show like a shadow of his... It's the shadow caused from his leg. Make the back of the heel of the shoe dark. Now, I did kind of mess up here when I didn't make the heel long enough, and I think what I'm going to do to kind of remedy that is I'm going to put some tread on the heel of his shoe. There. Now, it's not a mistake. Now it is an addition. Let's make sure our line's kind of curved to give the impression that it's rounded. There. So, in the game, his shoes don't have treads, but our Mugman's shoes do. And that's how we can turn a mistake into just a part of the art. Most of the time, people will not realize that you made a mistake unless you yourself point it out. Back when I played the clarinet in band, I did solos on the clarinet for competitions. Get easily flustered when I mess up. And my dad would tell me that if I didn't, as long as I just kept going, people would not recognize that I made a mistake. They might just think that it's part of the song. It's true about a lot of stuff that you do. A lot of things in life. You can kind of just make your way through if you have the right attitude and if you don't let on that you don't know what you're doing. Oops. There we go. Make sure that we get this little part underneath there too. Okay, so there is shoe number 1 finished up. Let me just make sure that this back part is clearly defined. There we go. And now we'll finish shoe number 2. Drink some water real quick. Woo. Alright, now this shoe is behind the other one, so it will be darker than the other one. It's mostly in the shadow. However, this part right here, since he's kind of moving it out, it's going to be kind of behind or in front of the shadow of his body, I imagine. So we're still going to get some darkness right here. Maybe some around the side here, because it's still a little bit. The heel is definitely in the shadow. But he's moving it. He's moving it out of the sunlight, so or out into the sunlight. So the toe of his boot is going to be a little bit brighter. Right here is going to be dark because it's caught. It's in the crevices of his shoe. Sunlight's not going to be able to get in. Right here too is going to be a little bit darker. We're going to make sure that we have like a little bit of a line here to differentiate between the heel of his shoe and the top of it. There we go. Now let's give some color to the rest of it now that we have our spots that are the darker spots done in. There we go. Need to blend this part of the shoe a little bit more. Alright, now the sole of the shoe, obviously it's completely faced away from the sun, so it's going to be pretty dark compared to everything else. Not a problem, we got that. I'm not going to put any I'm not going to make any kind of fading colors on the bottom of the shoe because the whole thing is facing away from our white source. So we're just going to assume that it's all pretty much the same color, except when I get my black, oops, can't even see it, can you? It was out of frame. Except for when when I get my black pencil, I'm going to add a little bit more black down here at the very bottom to show that it is pushing against the ground. And color in our tread here. It's going to be pretty dark. Wish I knew where my pencil sharpener was. This pencil's starting to get mighty dull. There we go. For those of you watching, if you've played the Cuphead game, let me know what you think about it. I'm kind of interested in getting it at some point, but I'm worried that it's just kind of short. I don't know. Y'all tell me. Is it worth getting? Is it any fun? I'm not too worried about it being too difficult. I don't mind a game where I have to kind of hit my head against a wall for a little bit before I can break through. Alright, I think that is only too bad. So like I said, I'm going to grab my black pencil. I'm going to give it a little bit dark here at the heel to show that it's on the ground. Make it a little bit darker. And then we're going to give a little bit of black up here since it is out of the in the shadow. I want to show that it's in the shadow, make sure that it is pretty dark comparatively. And show that helps us it helps give the shoe a little bit of a roundness. And if we make the crevices in it darker too, it'll make the shoe kind of feel like it's like a real object. There we go. We'll give some dark down here. Make sure that the tread over here gets a little bit of black pencil on it too. That's looking pretty good. We have some water. Talking for a long time like this, really dry out your mouth. Let's make sure that these shorts, the inseams of the shorts, nice and dark too. There we go. Like I was saying before, when you're using a different color, when you're using like the black pencil to add to the shading, you don't need to press down very hard. Just a little bit, just enough to give the impression of darkness. We don't want to cover up our blue. We just want to add to it. And there's his pants. Done. Let's give his nose just a little bit. There we go. And a little bit on his straw. It's the back of the straw here. The goal with the shadows is to make it look like the straw is round. To make it look like the nose is round. Give the whole picture some depth. So, there's our Mugman. Looking pretty happy. There's our guys. Oops. Let's look at their feet real quick. Not bad. I'd say that these pictures turn out pretty okay. What do y'all think? Okay on Cuphead? Oh, excuse me. All right. I think we have time maybe to work on one more. Now, one of the first bosses, the first level, I think, that you fight in Cuphead are a bunch of, I guess a bunch of sentient vegetables, is what you might call them. So what I think we'll do is, I think we'll draw that. A bunch of sentient vegetables from Cuphead. Unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure what they look like, so I need to pull myself up a picture. See what we can do. And the reason I'm using Sharpie is to give them nice thick black lines, like since they are cartoons, they have black lines on them. But I'm also doing it because if I do it with pencil, I have a tendency to draw a line, then erase it, and draw it again, and erase it. This way, everything's a lot more, well, permanent. And that way I don't keep second guessing myself. The line is put down on the paper, and that is it. Alright, so what we're going to do right in the middle is we're going to draw the psychic carrot. The psychic carrot, he massages his head, and he fires like mind beams or something like that from him. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the base of this carrot, and he's kind of built in layers, the way he's drawn. So do like that. And we have our kind of segmented almost. Now he has some wrinkles up here at the top. Alright, now let's draw the other side of him. He's kind of looking like a worm right now. We'll have to make sure to fill him out, make them all orange. That'll give him a better kind of idea of what he looks like. I might be making my segments a little bit too apart, I guess I would say, from one another, but that's okay. Now the reason why we aren't go ahead and finishing the top of his head is because, like I said, he has in the game he has like psychic powers, and he rubs his forehead and I guess induces those powers with his carrot fingers. So that's what we're gonna draw here, is him rubbing his forehead with his carroty arms and his carroty fingers. Just like Cuphead and Mugman, he has that kind of rubber hose look to his limbs. Thin and long, like they have no bones. Being a carrot, I suppose he doesn't have any bones, normally. There you go, we'll make his long fingers. And they're causing all these wrinkles in his head. We'll draw that. Let's see. What's a good way to draw wrinkles here? There. There, that's one wrinkly carrot head. Let's see on the other hand. To the side, let's put some wrinkle, or let's put our fingers down. Put our first finger like this. Let's see, we'll do his hand here. There we go. Giant, long, wiggly carrot hand. Let's see, we'll give him we'll give him 4 fingers here. And we'll put it like a wrinkle around here, like he's really massaging his carroty scalp. And we'll put some wrinkles like he's focusing. There we go. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. Oh, let's give him a thumb around the back. There, our crazy carrot head. Now we got to add the top. And give him like a little bushy stem. Put some leaves on it. We'll give him 2 leaves. There we go. And we'll give him the stem for the leaves there. It's kind of like his hair, I guess. His weird leaf hair. Yeah. That's looking weird. Nice and weird. Nice weird giant carrot. Now, in the game, he's got big giant eyes. So that's what we'll draw. Some big giant eyes. Really focusing with them. And with these eyes, what we're also going to do is sort of suggest the bridge of the nose. Give big, pointy, crazy eyes. There we go. Give him some wrinkles under his eyes here. There we go. And now we're going to finish with the nose. And give him a long carroty nose. Make it come out a little bit. And no crazy carrot is complete without a crazy carrot smile. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to do a great big smile. And give him some little divots here for his cheeks. And we'll put in some giant carrot teeth. He's really grinning. It's pretty weird looking. I like it. We'll give him some crazy swirly eyes as he uses his crazy mind powers. And so we'll put one eye down here and one eye up here, like he's really like, he's focusing so hard his eyes are getting all messed up. Yeah, that's looking nice and strange. There's our crazy carrot guy. Awesome. Now the other vegetable guy that they fight is a potato. So, oh, excuse me. So we'll put the I think we'll put the potato on this side. This side of him. Excuse me. Let's see, what do we want our potato to kind of look like? Alright, so potato is going to come up, I think his head is going to come up pretty high. We'll put his head up like this. We've got kind of like a weird dent in his head. Potatoes come in all weird kind of sizes. Alright, there's our weird potato head. We'll give him his angry eyes. So first we'll do this. Now we're going to do another one for his other angry eye. Alright, that's going to give him some fierce eyebrows. I don't know if potatoes have eyebrows. Potatoes have eyes, but I don't know if they have eyebrows per se. I guess maybe if they get moldy. Alright. I'm going to give him the Pac-Man eyes too. Scary. I love using Sharpies. They give they're just fun to use. Until they start running out of ink, and then it's like immediately in the trash. If it doesn't give me a clean line, then I'm throwing it away. It defeats the purpose. Urgh. Maybe I'll draw something from over the garden wall sometime. There's in the show, there's this part, I think it's like the second episode maybe, where the boys go to like this village getting ready for a harvest festival, and everybody's wearing burlap sacks and jack-o'-lanterns on their heads as part of the festival. And I love that episode. There's like a giant pumpkin-headed like king. I guess he's kind of like a giant pumpkin king. And he towers above everybody, and he speaks in this really low voice. Give him some spots on this guy, some potato wrinkles, because he's a wrinkly old potato. It's just kind of the way that potatoes are too. They kind of grow in strange ways. But the I think the boys in the show, they accidentally like mess something up, or something like that. Maybe they break something. I can't quite remember. Oh no, it's just because they entered the city when they weren't supposed to. I think that was what it was. So they have to do manual labor for the pumpkin-headed guys, and it turns out like they need to dig holes, and the talking bird, which is with the boys from earlier, she tells them, "Oh, these people they're trouble. They're having you dig your own graves. They're gonna kill you." And it's kind of a dark. It's kind of dark for a kids show. And so they get freaked out. They're gonna run away or something. They're gonna try to escape. It turns out that they're not digging holes for their own graves. They're basically digging up skeletons. So the whole town they're all skeletons. And the skeletons come out of the ground. They put on their roll-up sacks and their pumpkin heads, and they're all joining. They're being dug up for the festival so they can all join their friends and families and have fun again. But it's a weird show. But maybe I'll draw Pumpkinhead Town. It's a fun episode. We'll give this guy like a shaking fist, kinda. He is one angry potato. There you go. Grrr. This is kind of an empty space here, so we'll add another bump. There's our angry potato. I like him. He's weird looking. Uh-oh. I didn't mean to close out my music. That's too bad. Bring it back up. And let's see, the other guy is a crying onion. Need to pull music back up. I don't know how, but I managed to close out of everything. So bear with me for just a moment. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Get back to the music. Putting on some music. All right. There we go. Now, before I go on and do my onion, I wonder if I'm actually still streaming. I hope so. A little worried if I closed everything that it's I'm worried that if I closed everything that it closed the video as well. Okay. All right. Still working. Good. Excellent. Okay. Y'all give me just a couple minutes. Be right back. Okay. I'm all back now, and we're going to finish up the last half of this picture here, and we're going to draw our onion. Now let's see, I think the best way to do it is we're going to start with his kind of bulbous body. Well, actually, I want to make sure that I get his eyes so that they're not under the carrot's arm. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw the central feature of his face first. I'm going to draw his nose. Right. Yeah, right here should be good. And he has big cheeks. Big cheeks on either side. There. And from that, we can kind of anticipate where the rest of his body is going to be. There we go. That's looking okay. Right now, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know, maybe a bunny right now. Anyway, let's put in his eyes. Now, our onion, the big crybaby, he's feeling rather apprehensive. So we'll make him have very worried looking eyes. Give him some eyelids. We'll draw in his eyes now. Ooh. And very concerned looking eyebrows. Let's color those in, just make them black. I was thinking briefly about making them kind of a dark brown color, but I think we'll just do it all black. There we go. Oh, looking very nervous. Kind of feel bad for him. There we go. Poor guy. Alright. Now, we're going to do his hands. He's going to be like chewing his nails almost. He's nervous, he's scared. He's not sure what's going to happen. So we're going to draw his first we're going to draw the top of his mouth so we know where to put his hands. Now we're going to start right here. We're going to draw his finger. Give him the classic cartoon four-fingered hand. There we go. Now I'm a little worried that I kind of messed up his arm here, but since he has the rubber hose arms, I guess it's okay that it's kind of wonky in shape. It's a wonky art style. It's a wonky character. I'm trying to make this line a little bit bolder here just so it doesn't look too much like I messed up. There. Not much better, but well, what can you do? Not so much when you're using permanent marker, and that's okay. And do his other fingers here. Gotta give him a thumb. And we'll bring this down to make his hand and become his arm. There we go. It's looking okay. Oh, let's put a thumb on this side too. There we go. Now we're gonna make his mouth, make his teeth a little bit more visible. That way it kind of looks like he's chewing on his fingers. So we'll give him that cartoony round mouth. We'll put in some teeth. Oh. Let's give some worry lines, some like worry wrinkles. There we go. Now he's an onion, so we got to give him some like onion paper kind of looking skin. So what we'll do is we'll draw some lines like this. And if we curve these lines, that'll make him appear like he's spherical, like he's rounded. Whoopsies. There we go. There we go. That's looking okay. Let's put another line on this side. I'm glad I made those thumbs kind of poking out. Kind of makes it look like he's, I don't know. Makes me think like he's worried he's going to start sucking his thumb or something. I think the idea of the crying onion is a pretty funny one. Even though it seems kind of like a, kind of a simple joke. I've cut a lot of onions in my days, and every once in a while I'll get a really strong one that might make my eyes water up, but I don't think they'll... Normally they don't... not really super affected by any crazy amount of onion tears. Let's give him some sprouts on top. Kind of like, well, he gets hair, so we'll give him some hair too. Like little onion sprouts. Almost like green onions. I love green onions. Those will never make you cry. Unless you cut your finger while you're cutting them. There we go. There's our veggie bunch. Now, we'll put some... What are we going to do at the bottom here? I guess we need to put some dirt, kind of. Like they're coming up from the ground. So we'll put some like dirt here. I guess dirt's not too hard to draw because well, it just has to look like a clump of something. It's not like you need to really, I don't know, make it look too great, or else it won't be dirt. And let's finish up this part right here. We need to build some dirt. We'll put a little clump next to like a bigger one. We'll put some tiny clumps of dirt together right here. There, that's looking dirt. We need to build it up a little bit more so it can reach up to that carrot. I guess I could bring the carrot down, but I'd rather bring the dirt up. I'll put another big clump of dirt right here. This soundtrack is from another video game that I've not played. It's called City Skylines, and I think it's kind of the indie answer to SimCity. It's supposed to be very good. I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I can't really judge. Let's give it some more. Let's put some little piles leading off to the side here. We'll put some that make it look like it's behind our onion. There we go. I think we need to put like a little clump right here. And maybe one like that. There we go, leading off the paper. There, that's looking good. Nice piles of earth. Ooh. Make that one kind of come down like this, and we'll put some underneath it to build it up. That looks weird. I think we'll put like a little clump or two over here next to that to give it a little, maybe draw your eye away from that weirdness. I don't know why I made that clef a little bit too deep. Alright, we'll bring some dirt around this side. Big hill of dirt. Put some right here to kind of make that less intense of an incline. Put some over here to connect those. There's our dirt. That's looking good. I think it might be time to get the colored pencils out. Let's start with our friend. Let's start with the carrot right in the middle here. No. Not sure if I want to use this orange or slightly more yellow orange. Oh, this one's actually called yellow orange. I think I'm gonna go with the praying for this one, this yellow orange, and I'll keep this one out to do like a little bit of shading, some shadows where it's darker. Oops. This one might be a little bit harder to shade just because we have 3 characters, and it's going to really depend on where we decide to have the light coming in from. I think we should have the light coming in from kind of, yeah, this direction. That way most of it will be coming on Mr. Crying Onion's face. Water. Well, don't mind before I get started though. I am going to have a bite of this Reese's peanut butter bar. Because I am very, very hungry. Okay, Crazy Carrot. Let's get started. I think this was a good choice. Good choice of color here. Now these pictures that I'm making of Cuphead and Mugman and the Botanic Panic gang, I will not be putting these on my website. I don't feel that's fair to put it on my website on Society 6 because, well, they're not my idea. They're not my creations. I'm not really adding anything to the pictures. Mostly just drawing them for fun. I will put them, I guess, on my Facebook page and other social media pages. But yeah, it doesn't seem right for me to put them on the website and try to make profit off of it, because this is somebody else's characters. Now maybe next time I'll change things up again. I'll still do some fan art. Maybe I'll keep doing Cuphead, I don't know. But I think I might blend it with something else. Make it a little bit more unique. I'm thinking Cuphead and H.P. Lovecraft. Making some Cuphead versus a squamous boss. Cuphead versus Cthulhu. That would be funny. Like a Shoggoth or something like that. Something terrible. Then it might look a little. Then it'll be a little bit more unique. Oh, this stuff is so good. I'm gonna have one more bite. Alright, let's start putting some shadows on them. So we'll make the left hand side a little bit darker. This part will be darker because his fingers are covering it up. I'm going to make sure that we get these wrinkles. Where it's wrinkling, it'll be darker. As the carrot skin, I guess, is being pushed down. I probably don't drink enough water, so I've been trying to drink more water lately. It's supposed to be healthy for you. I definitely don't want to get sick just because I didn't drink enough water. That seems like, out of all the ways to get sick, it seems like a pretty sad way. I mean, especially since it's available to me. If y'all have any suggestions on what I can like combine with Cuphead to create some sort of crazy picture, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear suggestions. And I can do my best to do I don't know, whatever crazy thing y'all can think of. Put some shadow behind his nose here. I think this music might be a little bit too peaceful. I feel like I'm falling asleep. Put some shadow behind his eye, or next to his eyes, under these wrinkles here. There we go. Now we have these ridges here. These segments will create shadow underneath them too. Pencil's starting to get dull. I used to have a lot of pencil sharpeners, but my kids broke most of them. It's hard not to let them use art supplies because I want them to be creative. I just wish that I'd try to teach them how to take care of the art supplies, especially since I try to remind them, like, this isn't yours, you're borrowing it. But it just seems like whatever they touch ends up breaking anyway. I guess that's just, you know, being a kid. So you don't quite understand how, how physical force enacted upon an object can lead to changes in that object. In this case, being snapping the pencil sharpener open and breaking it in half. Make it a little bit darker down here, because it's in the soil. It's near the earth. Not so much light getting down at the bottom of the carrot. The brown from the soil might be reflected up a little bit from light bouncing off of the earth. Oh, it's kind of too harsh of a shadow line right there. Let's see. It's looking good so far. Don't want to forget his arms, though. Bring this around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this true orange or whatever, and use that true orange to give it a little bit more detail on the sides there. I might use it on his hands too, to sort of differentiate his hands from the rest of his carrot body. Oh my goodness. I think I've almost reached the limit of this pencil. Oh, looks like I'm almost reaching my time limit too. Well, hopefully I'll get this carrot finished, at least. And then next time on Wednesday, when I start my stream on Wednesday at 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. sorry, I can finish up this one. Finish coloring them all in. Alright, let's use this orange to give it a little bit. Make it a little bit darker here. Make it dark around his eyes, like his eyes are tired from being so crazy. And around his mouth, because his mouth is straining. And the muscles around his mouth, or the skin, I guess, the carrot skin around his mouth is a little bit strained from grinning so widely. I think his teeth, though, I might just leave them white. Crazy carrot with white teeth. That seems like something. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, why not? I think I went a little bit too dark over here. I need to blend it out a little bit. There we go. Okay. It's looking alright. Give some more orange around the side edges here. There we go. It's going to give it a little bit more definition. Make it seem a little bit darker. Shading has to be one of the most difficult things about art. I mean, there's so much depends on shading. And it's so easy to ignore it. It's so easy to mess it up. Oh my gosh, this music is... I gotta give it a rest. Finish up with this music here. Probably won't even get halfway through this album, but that's okay. Make sure it stays. It's nice and orange down here at the bottom. It's the freshest part of the carrot. It just came out of the earth. Give it a little orange for his arm over here. Now, like I said, I want to use some more of this plain orange instead of the orange yellow to make his arms a little bit stand out from the rest of him. I don't want them lost in the oranginess of his forehead. So I feel like making them a little bit darker, making them more pure orange would be a good way to distinguish them. That's what I was saying earlier about cartoon characters from this era wearing gloves to distinguish their hands from their bodies. Because if their bodies are all black and their hands are all black, well, they'll just disappear. Makes it hard for them to be seen. I would say that it doesn't make sense for this carrot to wear gloves because carrots don't wear gloves, but I mean, that's just kind of an inherently ridiculous statement. Carrots also don't have crazy eyes and teeth. Whew, my word. Getting a little bit of hand cramps here. I'm going to give it just a little bit of black. We don't want very much. We already used that orange to do most of the shading for us. But just a little bit here and there. Especially when I give it around the eyes and the mouth. Do some around these wrinkles up here. Actually, you know what? I need to give a little bit more definition to the wrinkles. And give a little bit up here at the top of the carrot head too. Oops. Get out of here. Yes, this is the first boss, well, the first 3-part boss from Cuphead. Those of you just tuning in. Let's see. I think you fight the potato first, then the onion, and then the carrot. And they're kind of like the introductory bosses. There we go. Alright, so put just a little bit of black. Don't want a lot, just enough to give it a little bit of shading there. Alright, I guess we need to do his leafy green on top. Let's see, I've got this nice apple green from Prismacolor. We're going to use this apple green, and I think we're going to use this kind of darker green too. Alright. Yeah, so let's just fill this in real quick. I kind of feel like I'm rushing myself because I know I'm running out of time, but that's okay. Like I said, we'll just finish this next week. I guess I just kind of want to see how much I can get done, but I don't want to do a sloppy job, so I'll try to slow myself down on the coloring here. There we go. Don't want to forget these. I have a tendency not to get the edges of things so much. Alright, so let's do our shading real quick. Let's remember that the white is coming from this direction, so we need to make this leaf somewhat darker, especially over here on this side where the sun quite won't be shining directly on it. And like I said, in the game itself, there's not really any shadows, but I thought it would make my picture look nicer if I had some in here. This part is going to be kind of dark too because the leaves are covering up the stem. Here is going to be a little bit darker because that leaf is covering up this one. Let's use our darker green here too. Give it a little bit of depth there. Wow, this music is pretty much more intense than I meant to put on. There we go. A little bit of dark green. Sort of round it out. Put some underneath this this vein here. Put a little bit of dark green here, but we don't need a lot because this is the leaf that is facing the sun. Yeah, that's looking it's not too bad. All right. Lastly, for Mr. Carrot, let's do his weird, crazy eyes. Oh. Now, I want to say that his eyes are yellow. I mean, like the swirls in it. I think what we'll do is fill in that part. And then I have this Spanish orange. I think that might be a little bit too similar to his body. Let's see, I'm going to use, yeah, this golden yellow might be the best choice for right now. Yeah, that's good. Not too close to the orange of his body, but still visible next to the white. There we go. Crazy eyes, Carrot. Sometimes it's fun to color things. Just coloring things in is fun. It's relaxing just to color stuff in. Makes it easy to do, I guess. Unless you're doing shading, like I was talking about. But coloring things in makes it to me, it gives a sense of accomplishment. Like, I colored in that spot. I did something. Go me. I think that's why I like coloring books and stuff too a lot. So there's just this feeling of accomplishment. I guess that goes well with Cuphead itself, since it's supposed to be a very difficult game. You get a nice feeling of accomplishment having finished it. All right. Now I only have about 10 minutes, so I'm going to use those 10 minutes to let's see, work on the dirt a little bit. Got some different colors, so I'm going to make sure, or that way I can kind of make the earth look, I don't know, different shades of brown. It gives it a little distinction from the potato when I get to color him in. Onion's going to be kind of yellowish and tannish, so I'm not too worried about him getting mixed up with the brown. It's mostly just the potato. This soundtrack is from a game I played a long time ago. Man, I'm trying to even remember what it's called. Risk of Rain, that's right. Which, that was also a very difficult game. It's about like you're piloting a spaceship full of cargo and it crashes, and you need to get back to your spaceship to fly back home. And you pick up all the different, there's like the cargo from the spaceship is spilled out, so throughout your travels you can find more of it and use it to help you survive. It's very difficult though, because there's like a timer on the side, and as time goes by the game gets harder, so you have tougher and tougher enemies to fight. I like the soundtrack though. It's a pretty crazy one. Here. Oh my. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get all this dirt done before time's up. I'll just get as much of it done as I can. Let's see, we'll make this one kind of this darker brown. The sienna is kind of nice. It divides up the colors. It has kind of a reddish tinge to it. Tinge. I don't think that's a word. There we go. Do this brown over here. I suppose if I wanted to, I could make some of this kind of gray, almost like pebbles, rocks. But I think that choice may have already passed me by. Thought of it a little bit too late. Oh well, this is looking okay. When I continue my streaming on Wednesday, I'll add some more. I'll add a little bit of more texture to this dirt. Give it a little bit of shading. Give it a little more details in the colors. After that, we'll move on to potato and onion. Fill them out. And then I think I'll do something. Whoops. Maybe I'll do something different. Maybe I'll combine I'm leaning towards Cuphead fighting some sort of Lovecraftian beast or monster. I mean, in the game, Cuphead fights the devil at the end, so if he can fight that kind of deity, maybe he could fight. Maybe it'd be okay with him for fighting a Lovecraftian deity. I don't know which one though. I'll do some thinking about it. Think of a good one. It's almost finished here. All right. Well, there we are so far. I think it's looking okay. Let's see. There's our Mugman from earlier. And there's our Cuphead. Well, no, I think they turned out pretty okay. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. This is Jeremy with InkInspiration. If you would like, please join me on a Wednesday at same time, 9 a.m. And I'll be streaming then. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 till 12. Right here. I think I'm going to set up a YouTube channel so I can log some of the videos as I record them. And if you're interested, send me a shout out over email at InkInspirationJ.com. I also have a website on Society 6, InkInspiration on Society 6, where you can see all of my art. Buy yourself maybe like a travel mug or something. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you Wednesday. Thank you.